Welcome to the Simpler Business Podcast, where we talk about ways to do what you love and serve your people in a way that brings you income and freedom. I'm your host, Marissa Roberts. Join me as I chat with my favorite entrepreneurs about how they simplify their biz so that you can simplify yours. Paid versus organic marketing, which is better? If you're looking to grow your audience and attract high quality clients, you've likely asked yourself the same thing. Paid advertising seems to promise quick results, but the tech can be quite confusing. It can eat up your budget very quickly, and it doesn't always translate into long-term relationships. Organic marketing is a really great way to build trust and engage with your audience in a natural and cost-effective way, helping you expand your reach, boost your brand visibility, drive engagement, and nurture meaningful connections without the high price tag. My guest today has built their own product-based business and now coaching business through organic marketing efforts and has grown their Instagram profile to more than 50,000 followers and the email list to 45,000 followers without ads. Dylan Jahraus is a seasoned e-commerce entrepreneur with over 10 years experience from corporate e-commerce to scaling e-commerce entrepreneurs. Her Etsy venture quickly exceeded $1 million in profit before expanding into Amazon and Shopify. With her experience and insights, she now helps people recognize that even these days, they can still grow their audience organically without the help of ads. And I'm so excited to chat with her and find out how. Dylan, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me, Marissa. It's going to be fun.
Oh, honestly, I think so too, because this is such a hot button topic. I've been working online for the last, probably more than 12 years now, 12, 13 years. And organic marketing is every year something that's on my mind. How can I do it better? What's working right now? What's not? Sometimes I feel like I'm stuck a decade ago mindset wise in what I should be doing on socials. And I'm someone who thinks about this stuff 24/7. So for a lot of my listeners who are in their first few years of their business, they're kind of jumping in, feeling overwhelmed, seeing everybody do different things everywhere. And honestly, they're just looking for like a little pathway that they can follow. How do I grow my reach? How do I turn them into customers? How do I not spend all of my day and up until midnight on the laptop doing it while everybody else is asleep? So anything that you can share with us that's working right now, I am so excited to hear about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, I am a huge proponent of organic growth with both, product-based businesses like Etsy, but also coaching and services. And it's really, I've done all organic up until just this summer. We started dabbling with ads. Yeah.
Lovely. And that's the thing. I don't think ads are a bad thing, are they? But I think ads kind of come into place when you've already got something that's working, people are enjoying your content, and then ads are a really great way to scale that, right? Rather than jump in and just hope something works when it comes to paid advertising.
Yeah, it's a very expensive experiment to establish product market fit through ads.
Mm.
So we really focused on getting that well beforehand. And I've been doing coaching for about 2 years and 2 months. And we were able to scale to $1 million months within 14 months, no ads with these methods.
That is amazing. Amazing. And I know we've got a lot of product-based business owners and coaches and also some
Mhm.
service providers listening as well. But in terms of product-based, I think Etsy's been around for so long, but I think it's still kind of an untapped market. Like people know about Etsy in terms of being a customer, but not
Mhm.
a lot of people think of Etsy as, hang on a minute, this could be a really good vehicle to grow my own business. So that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's a really interesting take as well. Okay, I can't wait to jump in. Should we keep it simple at the start though, and let's talk platforms? There's so
Yeah.
many. All of the platforms are introducing other areas on their platform to mimic each other now. So you've got, X, you've got Instagram. Instagram has threads now. You've got TikTok. TikTok, you can post stories on now. There's YouTube. Oh, I love YouTube, but I feel like it's YouTube old fashioned now. And don't even start me on Facebook. Like, what would you recommend in terms of platforms? How do you figure out which one's right for you or which one's right for your audience? What's your take on?
Mhm. I think it depends on your goal. With my audience, right? My goal was really to convert people into my coaching program, in my course. So long form really was the answer to do that since I am high ticket. So, like we have programs upwards of like higher than 15,000. We have a $30,000 back end offer as well. So when selling something that's higher ticket, really building that trust and creating that warm audience, it's so much easier to do that with long form. So YouTube is really the only thing I primarily focused on within my first really 60 days of this business. And it took about 30 days of, well, actually 23 days of posting a long form video every single day to get to 1,000 followers, or what do they say? Subscribers. Yeah. So that was the YouTube journey. And then all of my customers came from the YouTube channel in my first few months.
Okay, guys, I'm just going to interject here with a personal question from me because I love watching YouTube. I've been on YouTube in the past for my first business, which was organizing. It's called Beautifully Organized. It's still there, but I haven't done videos in ages. But for this job where I'm sharing, hacks for business where people get more time and more income at the same time, I've been on YouTube like for 2 years and I have 120 followers. And all I'm doing is repurposing podcast episodes. And I feel like I'm wasting my efforts on YouTube. So, what sort of content did you put on your YouTube channel in order to see that sort of growth and engagement so quickly? Do you mind me asking?
Yeah. So I gave everything away that all the other coaches were gatekeeping. So
Oh.
basically, just the more free information, the better, because then they wonder what's behind her paywall then. If this is what she's sharing openly, my goodness, how much more could I learn from working with her? So that was really the key. Now our strategies also were very different, right? We I would say advise a lot of the opposite of what other people say. So that alone gets a little bit of attention, but really treating YouTube video like an ad, almost like a hook, really good hook to keep their
Mhm.
attention. I edited these videos myself for the first 3 months, and it was, like, on my iPhone, and I was editing them, and it was, uh yeah, the quality is definitely not there, but somehow the value of the content was enough to get those subscribers. So then hiring, at that point, it was like I was spending way too much time editing these things, hired an editor about 3, 4 months in, and that changed everything. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. And that's really nice to hear too, because nobody wants to feel like, oh, I have to get it perfect straight away in order for it to work. I think those two tips that you shared, which was basically the hook is really important, but also the difference in your content and actually being able to shine a spotlight on the difference in the advice that you give compared to normal people and that whole just give, 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 give. I love that. Did you ever panic though and go, what am I going to show behind the paywall? Like, or did you know from the start, no, hang on, I'm going to do this over here and this for my paid clients?
Yeah, and, there's still, like, because 'cause I'm 2 years and, like, 4 months in, and I do 2 videos a week now, but I have hundreds of videos, and it's still, like, an internal battle of, "What do I save for the clients so they don't get mad?" Right? Um, which is why now we've really pivoted the service client side of things to more coaching versus just a digital course, because the coaching, you cannot get that personal attention on YouTube.
Yeah, those real touch points, tailoring specifically to what they're looking for at their part of the journey. That's a really nice distinction. I feel like we could just do the interview. Done. We've already found something really, really helpful for listeners. Thank you. That's really good. All right. So YouTube, you love YouTube in terms of that. In terms of other platforms like short form video, have you got any love-hate relationship with that? Do you think it's worth looking into?
Yeah, so, I would say a different purpose. Definitely, it's more like top of funnel that's working with our short form. We try repurposing clips of, like, talking head, we call them, videos from the YouTube videos and putting them as reels, but, the engagement is just not as strong. I would say those videos get a lot of followers, which is good, but the reach is just not as strong. The podcast does really well. Also a very different type of clientele than people who watch short form.
Mhm. So
Yeah.
podcast again is another long form content technique. So I can see how that's really such a big trust builder. And I feel like if I'm consuming big amounts of content like that where I can actually learn something and take action from the free stuff, yeah, I'm going to be a hot lead that wants to go further and go, okay, well, now give me advice specific to exactly what I need. So that makes total sense in terms of a funnel that serves as it delivers. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Instagram, has just started picking up. We were gaining, it was like 4,000 followers a month, but now recently over 10,000 new followers a month with a new marketing manager.
My
Yeah.
gosh, amazing.
She's
I
yeah,
love
she's
that.
been really good. Yeah, and she, basically focuses on more, better, new, which is Alex Hormozy's, really, like, cadence that he talks about doing more of what's working, then doing it better, and then adding in new last.
I love
Yeah.
that. And is this very different to what you were doing in terms of the Etsy side of things that you've been doing previously? Were you doing your own Etsy or coaching on Etsy before you kind of moved? Like, was there a big transition in the last couple of years when you decided to go into coaching? How is that different to what you were doing before?
Yeah, so with the Etsy shop, I was, basically on a day-to-day basis, I was producing, physical products, custom made decorations and things, before then hiring that out. So with the marketing for Etsy, right, Etsy's a search engine, so SEO, very powerful. A
Yeah.
blog and Pinterest, also very helpful to drive traffic to Etsy.
Oh, that's really interesting. So different things that you're selling really in different business models will have a different platform that's going to work for you.
Yeah, because you just wanna think about, like, where is your customer spending time? And then where are they willing to click off of the platform? So, like, what I mean? Like, in Instagram, they try so hard to keep you there. Like, Pinterest, they're used to leaving the platform.
Yeah, I can see how different platforms would have different effects on the type of customer and what they're looking for. That actually makes me feel really relieved because I'm one of those people who every time a new platform comes out or a new feature comes out on a platform, there's a little part of me that goes, maybe I need to jump on this right now and I need to be one of the first people that do it so that I can get the most growth from it. And then I'm exhausted just thinking about that. So feeling like you have to keep up with everything is the worst, right?
Yeah, I felt that way about Threads.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, I was like, "Oh, do I have to?"
Good. I'm glad I'm not the only one that felt that way. So, everybody listening, you don't have to do them all. You don't have to do them all 24/7. You can start with one and then add to it as you go and as you grow your team to support you. I mean, honestly, if we're on social media 24/7, how have we got time to run our business? How have we got time to actually deliver to our coaching clients or deliver our services or, create our courses? There's only so many hours in the day that we're awake and we want to see our families as well.
Yeah. No kidding, yeah. Yeah, so I haven't done my own Instagram posting since about, a year and a half, and that's been, like, a game changer, to not have to create the content
Yeah,
itself. Yeah.
I love that. And you're still creating plenty of content elsewhere and helping people elsewhere in their coaching. So you're still the face of the business, but it's really nice that you don't have to be physically tied to all of that creation anymore. I think that's going to be a big freedom builder for a lot of our listeners as well. So
Yeah.
what about in terms of actually growing organically then? Are you seeing particular trends or are there particular actions that worked for you specifically in terms of growth or is it just a case of just keep going consistently? Like have you got any tips? If you had to share one tip, for example, for growing organically over the next 12 months, what would you
Yeah.
tell people?
I would say really paying attention to the data that matters. So, like, our posts, for example, or our reels on Instagram that get the most followers are not the ones that get the most reach.
Mhm.
So that's something, we're focused on what's getting us the most followers. Um, we're also using ManyChat in a strong way, and it's a game changer for just scalability here. Yeah.
I love that. How are you using ManyChat? How does it work?
Yeah. So basically, anytime we put out new content on YouTube or the podcast, we create a little automation. So I'll go on, I'll say, hey, comment below, you know, 10/31, whatever the date is usually. If you want to know 3 ways to, or 3 trends for Etsy this month. And then they'll comment, and then the little bot, ManyChat friend will send them the link. So yeah, we set up all of our content that way, and then we also do that with our opt-ins to grow the email list. So any way to grow the email list, any lead magnet, we connect to ManyChat.
I love that. So then they click on the link. Do they then just sign up with their name and an email address to get the delivery of the thing they clicked on the link for?
Yeah, and then the other part, you can create a conversation flow out of this. So then, like, you can say 2 minutes later, ask, "How did you like the checklist?" And it's like, if they and then they can click, "I loved it," or "I haven't opened it yet." And then based on their answer, you can create another message.
I
Yeah.
love that. I really like how you had "I loved it and I haven't opened it yet," because that's a really thing to answer. Because if I'm on Instagram and I have to answer in a really long sentence, I'm gonna click away. But that yes or no, sort of one or the other option,
Yeah.
genius. Love that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna give it a try.
Yeah, if you wanna know how it works, go to my Instagram and just comment on our posts because 'cause you'll get all the many chats. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay, guys, I'm gonna put Dylan's Instagram in the show notes so that you guys can I hope you don't mind if they do that too.
No,
Is that all right? Okay,
good.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, best
yeah,
way to learn is by doing sometimes, I feel. So to actually see it in process would be fantastic. Thank you. And
yeah.
what about mistakes people are making? Is there anything that you see online or in social media where you're like, "Oh, I feel really bad for that person because they're putting so much effort in, but that's really not gonna pay off?" Or do you see any trends as far as things that you're seeing people do that you aren't really gonna give them any traction in their business? Any mistakes?
I would say focusing on the wrong things or optimizing for the wrong goal here. So, views are great. Going viral, though, that's not going to make you money necessarily.
Mhm.
So, really, it's kind of vanity metrics, right? The vanity metrics, buying followers, like, oh my gosh, um, we were making over $500,000 a month with less than 10,000 Instagram followers.
That blows my mind. That's
So, like,
amazing.
you guys, like, you really don't need a lot of followers. It's really quality over quantity and then how you're engaging. So, don't get hung up on the vanity metrics. Yeah.
Okay. So if you had to pick, all right, I want people to engage and like start that many chat process, for example, or I want them to hit follow. Which is your first goal when it comes to people seeing your content? Follow first and then engage, or are you like, no, straight to engagement? Have you got a preference?
Yeah, so with ManyChat, they make you follow. So they'll tell the person who engaged, like 1, 10, 31, whatever the trigger was. They'll say, "Are you following the account? Please make sure you're following the account first, and then we will send you the thing." So it kind of does both for you.
That's fantastic. And it makes you not spammy as well, because they've said, yeah, I want to hear from that person. So everybody wins.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. I highly recommend it.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so let's talk about converting people then, because I know a lot of people are focused on growing their reach, but we do have a portion of listeners who are going, okay, I'm getting in front of people, I am making some connections, I am nurturing, but I find people do lots of commenting, but they don't do any buying or they
Mhm,
don't sign up for email, for example. Because for me, that's a big thing. Like I like to go from social to email list so I can
mhm.
be in touch regularly and not have to rely on an algorithm because I feel like sometimes your visibility can really go up and down on socials. And who knows, you can lose your account tomorrow, right? So I like to have email list as a backup.
Mhm.
Do you have any particular way that you can boost conversions in terms of moving from socials through to email through to buyer? Anything that you want to share there?
Yeah, so social selling is something really big that we do. So we do over 6 figures a month just selling through Instagram itself. And the way you do it is through setters. So setters, I honestly had no idea what this was until I
Me neither. This is
built
new
this.
to me.
Yeah. So when building this course business, in order to sell something high ticket, you typically get them on a sales call.
Mhm.
Now, that's great. So you have a salesperson on Zoom, right? And then there's, explaining the product, selling it. But there's also setters. So those are called closers. Setters are the people before the call happens. So they are mine are Chelsea and Brittany. And Chelsea's in Tennessee, Brittany's in California here. And they basically are in my account messaging everyone, any new follower. Hey, I'm Chelsea from Dylan's team. Hey, I'm Brittany from Dylan's team. So it's a full conversation. Um, they're in there all day, and they basically will get them booked onto a call or get them free resources, which is the email list often.
Oh, I love that. So it's like your new follower does have personal touch points, not necessarily with you as the head of the business, so with your team, but that personal feeling is there. That feeling like they see me as a person rather than just a number. I feel like that really helps there.
Yeah, and if you follow this is terrible, but if you follow me on Instagram, you will see what the process is. They will reach out to you, and then you'll see how the conversation goes. So it's now you pay them a commission. So but it's fully commission based.
So you don't
Yeah.
pay hourly, it's based on sales or based on appointments set for the call? I guess it depends on which role, if it's a setter or a closer. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, based on, closed set calls. Yeah,
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's such a great example of being able to scale without having to do it all yourself 24/7. Because I think that's what a lot of people think is that they have to physically be the ones doing this messaging back and forth in order to sell. But really, I think, as the creator or as the coach,
yeah,
that's almost not wasting your time and effort, but it could be used in such a better way to actually help the people that you're working with. So, yeah, I
yeah.
really
And,
love that.
for the first 6 to 7 months of doing this, I was the one on Instagram. I was the one messaging. My kids are in the bathtub. I'm like, "Wait, this person has a question," and it was chaos. It was so much chaos and trying to keep up with the messages, when really
Mm.
there's a whole job, someone who can do that. When it's commission based, right, as the owner, it's much less risky.
Yep. Yeah, because 'cause
Yeah,
you're not paying out per hour. And how do
yeah.
you feel now that you've been able to delegate that to people that obviously sound like they do it really well? And did you train them up, or did they come in as an expert and go, "Yep, I already know what I'm doing," or do you have an in-house training that you use with them?
Yeah, so I, hired them my first ones were through a recruiter, closers.io. They, basically recruit salespeople and place them. And then now we know what we're looking for, so we know how to recruit ourselves. But yeah, I mean, it went from like I was working by myself up till about the 9-month point. And that then in the last year and a half, we've really gotten up to about 37 people. We just hired 2 people this week starting Monday. So, yeah, um, I
Oh
don't
my
recommend doing it all by yourself.
no, that's
Yeah.
so inspiring because that's like for me, and I've been doing this for so long, this is like a whole new world opening up that I never really put any thought to previously. How did you first come across that idea?
Of like a high ticket program.
Yeah,
Uh,
or a high ticket program and being able to outsource the setting and the closing for it as well.
I took a course to learn how to build a course,
Mhm.
and I thought, "Oh, I'll sell it for like $2,000, my program." My first 11 calls, no one signed up, and I thought, "Wow, I'm gonna completely bomb this and fail at this. I'm just gonna sell this thing for like $200." And my mentor at the time said, "Dylan, no, like, you have something so valuable. You just don't know how to sell. Like, you don't know how to sell. You've never sold before." And he
Mhm.
gave me some coaching on this, and then all of a sudden, like 90% of people wanna sign up. So, um, yeah, definitely have a mentor because this is like the Wild West, and if you haven't done it before, I mean, you could waste a lot of time.
Yeah, so don't wing it. Go to somebody who's obviously already doing it
Yeah.
and and ask for their help basically so that you don't have to guess your whole pathway through it. Yeah.
Yeah, because if I had been selling this for $200, man, life would be so different now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
It would
yeah,
still be chaotic, right? Because that's the difference with high ticket. I feel like high ticket frees you up to deliver really high quality, and
yeah.
that's why I love the idea of high ticket. But it's something that I'm certainly not a genius in myself and haven't quite hit that level of confidently pursuing that myself. But it's like, I just feel like it's great for you as the business owner. It's great for your clients in terms of them getting exactly what they need in a space that doesn't feel overcrowded and chaotic. Everything is smooth and calm and focused rather than just putting out little fires everywhere, which is what a lot of
Yeah.
businesses feel like they're doing in the first couple of years.
Yeah, and high ticket is scalable. Like we have 16 coaches on the team now. It's not me fulfilling everything. So it is scalable if you build it to be that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Dylan, thank you so much. This has been so inspiring. I feel like I've got 4 different ideas I can go with, and the time has flown. We've been talking for nearly like 20, 25 minutes, I think now.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I just got this massive download of ideas that I can go in action. And I know people listening are going to find that really helpful too. So thank you for being
Good.
here.
Thanks for having me. This was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, really fun. So I know some people listening are going to want to know more about you and see more about what you do. And definitely they're going to want to go to your Instagram. So I'm going to put your Instagram link in the show notes. But do you have anywhere else that you think is a good place for people to start when they want to know more about what you do and possibly work with you in the future? Is your website the place to go to? Are socials best? Where do you think we should send them?
Yeah, I would say the website is great, dylanjahraus.com. Our Instagram is linked. Everything is linked. The podcast is there. Um, our student results are all there, and you can kind of get a better idea of what it is that we offer.
I love that. All right, I'm going to make sure I've got all of those links in the show notes so that people can find them nice and easy. I just know that this is going to be the starting off point for a lot of people who think they had to play small and are now going to be like, hang on a minute. I actually don't have to be a small business owner, and it doesn't have to take them 10 years to grow and scale their business, does it?
No, I mean, if you think big right now, you can it's kind of crazy. I call it kind of internet money, but it's crazy if you can really get the process down, and you stay really consistent, then you can make this really big. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to see where this takes me as well as everybody who is listening today. Thank you
Mhm.
again. And everyone out there, I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. I have really enjoyed having it. Thank you, Dylan, for being here. And I will see you all in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Simpler Business Podcast. If you did, please subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to make it nice and easy for you, just the way we like it. If you're ready to simplify and scale your business, you can get started with my free audio class at marissaroberts.com. See you next time.